Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh la nabiyya ba'da. Amma ba'd. First of all, I want to thank to our Almighty God. It is because of him we are able to attend the seminar proposal. Secondly, salawat and salam always be delivered to our Prophet Muhammad SAW, who had brought us from the darkness to the bright modern era that we live in today. The Honorable, the first examiner, Mr. Januari MED, and the Honorable, the second examiner, Mrs. Nurdiana MPD. I am Selina Rasa Zumarnis. Today, I want to present my research proposal entitled Exploring Students' Foreign Language Speaking Anxiety in Classroom Presentation at SMAN 1 Kampar Timur, supervised by Mrs. Zeli, MPD. Okay, we come to the first chapters of my research proposal. First is background of the research. As we know, speaking is one of the 4 important skills in English learning. It is a skill that can be applied and seen at a time. That means once we talk, we can't take it back. According to Nunan's 1999 opinion, speaking skills is considered more important than other skills during the process of oral communication. Students certainly have to respond at the moment, and they can not edit or revise what they say. That is, speaking is needed to master. There are many opportunities for someone to use their speaking skill as well as students. According to Brown 2001, he stated that the aims of speaking are to enable the students to participate in short conversation, find a way to express an idea, and collect information from the others. One of the activities of expressing idea for the students is classroom presentation. Therefore, by knowing the importance of speaking activities, SMAN 1 Kampar Timur requires students to conduct a presentation by using English in the class. It is suitable for the goal of English subject learning in the recent curriculum named Merdeka Curriculum. This curriculum requires students to have 6 activities in each subject to master it. The activities are listening, speaking, reading, writing, viewing, and presenting. According to King 2002, in a classroom presentation by using English as a communicative language, students may experience anxiety, which was the main source for target language student silence in presentation in classroom. Young in Horwitz et al. 1986, anxiety is a negatively influential variable that prevents students from succeeding in learning a foreign language. According to Liu 2006, students who experience anxiety are less willing to participate in class presentation activities. Based on the researchers' preliminary observation at SMAN 1 Kampar Timur, researchers found that student participation in class presentation is still low, and when presentation in front of the class, they look nervous, sweaty, going blank, or even panic. To make sure this problem is really exists in the school, the researcher also conduct a short or brief interview with the English teacher and also some of the students who experience anxiety during the classroom presentation. From the before explanation, it is important to know what factors which cause the students' anxiety and how the students deal with their anxiety in the classroom presentation. From the background of the problem and identification of the problem, researcher needs to limit the problem of the research on exploring students' speaking anxiety in classroom presentation at SMAN 1 Kampar Timur in order to know the factors that cause speaking anxiety of students during classroom presentation and how the students way to deal with this anxiety. There are 2 formulations of the problem of this research. The first is what are the factors that cause student speaking anxiety at SMA 1 Kampar Timur during classroom presentation. And the second is, how do the students deal with their speaking anxiety during classroom presentation? And also, the objective of the research is to explain what are the factors of student speaking anxiety at SMA 1 Kampar Timur during classroom presentation, and to explore the ways of the students deal with their speaking anxiety during classroom presentation. There are 4 terms that researchers use in this research. There are exploring, foreign language anxiety, speaking anxiety, and the last is classroom presentation. We're going to the first term, exploring. What is exploring? Exploring is a set of activity to examine and investigate something in order to know more about it. And the second term, foreign language anxiety. According to Rodriguez and Abreu 2003, foreign language anxiety is a situation-specific anxiety arising from the uniqueness of the formal learning of foreign language, especially in low self-appraisal of communicative abilities in the language. And the third term is speaking anxiety. Gardner and McIntyre, as cited in NIMA 2013, defined speaking anxiety as a fear, communication, apprehension occurring when a learner is expected to perform in the second or foreign language class. And the fourth term, on the last term, is class presentation. According to Huda 2018, a presentation is a discussion that imparts knowledge about a subject. A presentation that is conducted in classroom, which is often overseen by the teacher, is known as a classroom presentation. To get deeper understanding of the topic of this research, researcher put a literature review on the second chapter of this research proposal. From the theoretical framework, there are some points that need to be understood. First is the foreign language learning. So what is foreign language learning? The foreign language learning process provides a unique process because learners are required to communicate with the language that they have not mastered before, from Ansari 2015. In the other words, it can be concluded that learning a foreign language is not a simple task to do, since English is a foreign language to Indonesian people. The second one is speaking in EFL classroom. Nadia et al. 2019, which speaking defined as the expression of contributing ideas, opinions, advice, commands, and interaction during the teaching and learning process, especially in the classroom. And the next, language anxiety. According to Horwitz et al. 1986, anxiety is a kind of troubled feeling in our mind that is a subjective feeling of tension, apprehension, nervousness, and worry. This is in line with Kralova 2016, who argues that language anxiety is a mental and physical state characterized by specific emotional, physical, cognitive, and behavioral symptoms. Also, McIntyre and Gardner 1994 assume the anxiety is a feeling of tension and apprehension which specially associated with the second language context, including speaking, listening, and reading. Someone can be said as a person who have and experience anxiety when they have a variety of physical and behavioral symptoms, including sweating, and then palpitations, trembling, apprehension, worry, fear, and threats. Other symptoms include trouble concentrating, forgetfulness, freezing, going blank, and avoidance behavior, also seen as the indicator of anxiety. Horwitz et al. 1986 identified 3 factors that can cause anxiety when learning foreign language. That is, communication apprehension, test anxiety, and fear of negative evaluation. Students can use the following 5 strategies according to Kondo and Yingling 2004 to reduce their anxiety about speaking in front of the class. They are preparation, relaxation, positive thinking, peer seeking, and resignation. And the last is classroom presentation. Huda 2018 argues Presentation is a talk to give information about something to other people. Researcher found a number of relevant research to the student speaking anxiety and divides them to two groups. The first is the research that was conducted in Indonesia. There are research from Purwati 2020, Fadlan 2020, Huda and Makmun 2020, Fajri 2019, Agustin et al. 2019, and Huda's research in 2018. The second group is a research related to student speaking anxiety in a broad context. That is the research which was conducted by Chuang Huang Tian 2019. Based on the findings of some research above, the equation of these several studies was to investigate the students' anxiety in a presentation that used the students at the university level as the sample, while the study that researcher conducted here is focused more on the factors of speaking anxiety that students encounter in their class presentation and how the students deal with that anxiety of senior high school students. Based on the theories and previous research that has been presented before, it is necessary to clarify that phenomenon used in this research. So, the phenomenon of this research is the student speaking anxiety in the classroom presentation. We can see the form of the conceptual framework that is now showing on the screen. So, what is the approach and its design that the researcher will use in this research? In answering the research question, the researcher chose qualitative research as the approach. According to Creswell 2012, qualitative research is to explore the phenomenon of the problems from the perspective of different education students. Furthermore, this research will use a descriptive research as the design. The data will be obtained through observations and interviews. This is supported by Isaac and Michael opinion in Herwanto 2013. This research will conduct in SMN 1 Kampar Timur that is located at Pekanbaru Bangkinang Street number 40. This research also will be held on February to March 2023. The subject of this research is 10th grade students of SMN 1 Kampar Timur, while the object of this research is student speaking anxiety in classroom presentation at 10th grade students of SMN 1 Kampar Timur. The population of this study will all the 10th grade students at SMN 1 Kampar Timur, which many as 352 students divided into 10 classes, namely 10-1 until 10-10 class. The researcher here used the purposive sampling method to select the research sample. Researchers here only take one class, namely 10-1, which consists of 36 students in the class. Because according to Sugiyano 2016, purposive sampling is a technique to determine samples to be used as a data sources with various considerations. Marshall in Sugiyano 2016 argues that by observation, researchers can learn about the behavior and meaning of that behavior. The researcher will use the observational checklist to collect the data and write it down into field notes. And the second instrument is interview. Researchers also use interview as a second way to collect the data. The interview guides was adapted from Fajri 2019 that was developed from the FLCAS Foreign Language Classroom Anxiety Scale composed by Horwitz et al. 1986. The interview will be a semi-structured interview. Here is the observational checklist and the blueprint of interview guidelines. Next, the data will be analyzed by using 3 steps, such as namely the data reduction, data displays, and conclusion drawing or verification. To check the validity of the study, researchers use triangulation. According to William Wiersma in Sugiyano 2016, triangulation is a qualitative cross-validation. Okay, I think that's all my presentation about my research proposal. Thank you for your all attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.